Well, I'm glad you chose today to come out to your family on my show, dude. Welcome to This Juan Time. Today, my guest is Justice Roundy. My man, you are a farrier, a comic, father, a skateboarding phenom. Dude, you're one of the funniest people here in comedy right now, and I'm glad you set some time aside from your very busy schedule to talk shit and be silly, man.
Absolutely, dude.
If anybody can be silly, dude, it's you, bro. I love it. So, what's up, man? What's your story?
What's my story? Where do you want to start, I guess?
Oh, well, let's start. What's your earliest recollection of getting your own ass wiped?
I've blocked out most of that stuff.
No. Messing. So, let's see. So, I got to know you through, I think, was it JP's Comedy?
Yeah, JP's, yeah.
JP's Comedy Club here in Gilbert, Arizona. And quickly found out that you're a farrier, so you shoe horses.
Yep. Yeah.
Near and dear to kind of my background, because my family comes from horses, breaking horses, training horses for show. My uncle runs a what would you say, where he houses or stables horses
he
and
runs
trains
a barn,
them. Yeah, he's got this whole thing in his backyard where he'll train younger girls and guys on, rodeo, barrel racing. Yeah. And I'm upset at myself that I don't know more of these terms, and I'm from the country like that. Yeah. So when you were bringing that stuff up, I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, your comedy, dude, is so silly. A lot of what I would like to do, and you just do it that much better, man. Yeah. So I wanted to get you behind the mic and just kind of pick at your brain, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, starting with the horses thing, I didn't even grow up with animals at all. This wasn't part of my history at all, except my grandpa was a cowboy from Oregon and stuff. But yeah, I was working scaffolding, like we were talking about, up North Dakota, and I was like, this sucks, dude. This is awful. I was 60 feet up, and it was negative 40. That was the high for 2 weeks. And I was like, I got to figure something else out. If there's a God, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want me to be a scaffold builder. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But, so I was thinking about a job, and all of a sudden my uncle contacted me out of North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, do you want to learn how to shoe horses? And I was like, sure, why not? And so I moved to North Carolina a couple months later and started shoeing horses. And it's been really good to work with horses. Some days I make jokes about hating them and stuff like that, but I've learned a lot of good life lessons and just controlling my own self when dealing with horses. So I'm very grateful for the job.
Yeah, because I've worked with animals. I mean, one of my first jobs was working on a cattle ranch, and it's like, man, when you're trying to get this big animal to cooperate, it's very frustrating, man. Yeah, and I've definitely lost my cool plenty of times.
Yeah, me too, dude. Yeah, but it's just cool because there's a certain level of yourself that you got to be able to control, whether it be energy, and also be very susceptible to their body language and their energy as well. And sometimes a lot of the times you can tell the difference between if a horse is trying to be mean or aggressive to you, or he's just nervous, or they're just nervous and scared. And so either way, you got to be able to read that and then be able to help them calm down and just know that, I'm just there to do my job and get you out of there and not hurt you.
Have you ever been to a job and you walk up and you're reading the body language and everything, and you're like, not today.
No, so there are a few times. Usually I'll end up trying because I don't know. I find it. I'm relatively strong, but I'm never going to beat a horse. You know what I mean? And so they'll win 10 times out of 10.
I'll put that on a shirt, dude. Yeah. I'm relatively strong, but I'll never beat a horse. Justice Roundy.
That's a fact, dude. Yeah, no, it's good, but whether they're young or they've had traumatic experiences in the past, because some people will buy a horse and it'll be come from an abusive house or whatever, or they'll just be neglected for years, and so they don't have that human contact. And so, and some horses, they strictly hate men, just because men are usually aggressive, and so the women are fine. But when I come up or I'm wearing my chaps and stuff, they know that signal, and so they'll be on alert. But yeah, I'll just try to try to make them feel comfortable and and I'll try to pick up their legs. And generally, if I can pick up a foot and work on it a little bit, just so they don't freak out, and I say, that's a win for today, I'll come back. I don't want to make this any worse. And so it's not get the like some farriers, they'll go get out there and be like, I'm just here for the money. Let's just get it done, or force the horse or whatever, tie their legs up or whatever. But generally, I think I try to make it for my clients the least stressful experience when I'm there. And so it's an investment in our relationship and our business relationship that I'm not going to leave you hanging, but like, let's just call it a win for today. I don't want to get hurt. I also don't want the horse to have a bad experience. And so we'll just, we'll call it, or sometimes, they'll just be freaking out or pulling on the cross ties or whatever. And I'll be like, let's just wait another day. You know what I mean? Because it could be the day, it could be the wind, could be something they're smelling. And so it's just like, let's just call it. I'll be back later this week.
Yeah.
So
dang, man, what's that rescheduling fee, bro?
I don't have one yet.
No worries. That makes sense, man. Like them being, scared of men in general, just because usually that's a male driven career. Yeah, in that sense. And then if their experience has just been fucking shitty, and because these guys are just like, let me get this job done and over with, and on to the next one. And
it's very much like the dating experience for most women these days.
Well, I think as a horse too. I mean, listen, when you got somebody on your back, man, and they feel an aroused man on their back. That's not as cool as
I wouldn't like that feeling either.
That's not as cool as old wet on your back. For sure. I'm sorry, man. It's an inside. That one's for Sheila. That's an inside joke, dude. She's gonna lose it. Oh. Well, so you go from North Dakota. North Dakota. Okay, I'm sorry, dude.
No, there's South Dakota has Mount Rushmore. North Dakota has nothing. So
you got it. Yeah. No, it's center. I think it's the center of the world, or there's something there.
It's rugby. Rugby. North Dakota is the center of something.
Jesus. Oh, rugby. I think you meant like plain rugby.
No, rugby. North Dakota is the center of the world or something.
Yeah.
Which. Honestly, wherever you're standing is the center of the world, I think, really.
Because it's a sphere?
Yeah, because it's a freaking ball.
It's not a perfect sphere.
No.
Like that head of yours, man. Have you thought about going bald?
I look like I'm 12. Or a skinhead. So that's not a good look.
Or a 12-year-old skinhead.
I look like my brother, or my older brother showed me American History X, and I was like, nice.
Jesus, don't do that. All right, North Dakota to North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina.
You're on the north.
Yeah.
How long were you in North Carolina?
I was there about a year and a half. Yeah.
And the humidity got to you, huh?
No, it was actually really crazy because I moved to North Dakota from here, and so I was out there for about 4 or 5 years, and like it was just wide open grass fields, biggest sky I'd ever seen, and just crazy clouds. And then I moved to North Carolina. There's walls of green. Like there's this invasive vine there, just creates a green wall on all these trees and canopies.
Is it Mexican?
No, it's Asian. Oh. But sometimes I'd be driving and I'd almost like I could feel a panic attack starting because I was like, I can't see anything. I was just so claustrophobic on in the trees. But yeah, it was.
Oh man, that makes total sense. You go from Arizona, which is pretty open, and then North Dakota, which is wide open. I mean, what Montana's nickname is the Big Sky.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that it's wide open, and then next thing you know, you just go to this freaking
just walls of tree, dude. Yeah, Appalachian. I was right by the Blue Ridge Parkway where I was living, and so it was just like this is a whole different world, dude. Yeah, it was.
Did you see Bigfoot?
No, I wanted to.
Yeah. You didn't trip hard enough, huh?
No, not there.
So there for a year and a half, and then what lands you in?
So, I was working at a manufacturing company called Altec, and they build all the lineman trucks and just like utility trucks for linemen and other things. Like when they would have floods and issues in Florida, our trucks would go down there to help out and rebuild and whatnot. And so I was on the shipping and receiving. I was working an awful shift. It was like third shift, so I started at 3 and got home at 2 or something like that. And so I was not doing well. But I had a good time there, but I just didn't feel like I could really settle there after a while. It just didn't seem like that was the place. And so One day my wife was like, well, maybe it's time to move back to AZ. And I was like, I think you're right. You're right. And so I came back here and started barber school, because originally what I was going to do was to be a barber. And so did most of barber school, and I was cutting hair for a long time. When I was working scaffolding, I had to go to with all those my Mexican guys and stuff like that. Like,
give them the fades?
Yeah, I was invited to their barbecues. We'd eat, and I'd just be giving fades in the garage and stuff. I was like, these are my people, Holmes. Like,
what was your nickname?
Miklo.
Of course, dude.
So I did barber school, and I was shoeing horses as well, living with my mom, just trying to make money. And then I came to a crossroads where I had to make a choice to really invest in something so that I could make enough money for my family, move out of my mom's house. So shoeing horses is definitely more lucrative in a short period of time. That's what I chose, and I enjoy it. I'm glad I chose it. Yeah.
And so how many years have you been doing it now?
I think about 4.
Damn, okay.
4.5, something like that.
Yeah, you're really starting to get into your groove then at that point.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like, 'cause when I first got here, I was like, oh, I'm good. And then I'm like, the guys that I got
training under.
Yeah, training under, like, my apprenticeship was some of the best farriers in the state.
Dope.
Like doing the Arabian, Arabian long-footed show horses and stuff. Like, and then also Western and jumping horses, dude. And I was like, I don't know anything. And I continue to do that where I'll get to a point, I'm like, oh, I'm awesome. Like 1 week will be just fantastic. I'll be on point. My shoes will be awesome shaped, and my trimming's perfect the first time. And then this last week I was doing it. I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Won't fucking feel you.
Fake it till you make it, buddy.
There's plenty of that for sure.
Yeah.
And that is true. I mean, if you feel like you are good, then you do provide better work in that sense. Whereas if you're just like, I'm dog shit, you got to think positively for sure. Well, I guess that brings me to my next question. When it comes to shoes, not all shoes are the same.
No, definitely not.
Not even for the same horse, right? Would you ask like what the intention is? Like,
yeah, so it has to do with their job and what they're planning on doing with the horse, or what stage in their training they're at. And so, and like what arena they'll be riding in. Are they going to be trail riding where it's really rocky? Yeah. So they need more protection, or how often are you going to ride? Because if you don't ride that often and you just kind of take them on some sandy washes, we'll just put front shoes on because that's where most of their weight is, just to protect those front feet. And so it also depends on the genetics and the breeding of the horse.
Damn, dude. Yeah. So you almost got to have like this whole checklist of like bang, 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 and then that kind of starts to narrow down your options. Yeah. So when you mean by more protection, is it more thick or more wide?
Oh, it just depends on what the limb deformities they have, and like if they have a thin sole, we'll put a leather pad or a plastic pad on just to give them a little bit more protection.
So everything you do is custom.
Yeah, everything. Even on the limb, for sure. Depending on what limb you are on the horse, it's not the same. So like sometimes we'll put one pad on the hind foot, and that'll make up for the deficiency on the front, right, or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it just depends on the horse, really. You got to read it and you have to have good communication with the client, and they have to know what they're talking about. But generally, like, it'll fit in the same umbrella, but then from there you have to then modify it to that specific horse.
Then that's where this bad boy comes into play.
Yeah, that's where that bad boy comes into play.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
So you're literally having to, tweak it and bend it to, man, I feel silly asking these questions, so sorry. Because I just want to know.
No,
but do you take like a microscope to like the hoof at all to kind of see that, or you just kind of rub your fingers around it and you kind of know?
There's different guides and that you can read in the hoof capsule, like the different anatomy of the foot, whether it be the frog, which is that soft triangle part right in the middle of the foot.
Gotcha. That's called the frog?
Yeah, it's called the frog. And so reading that and just knowing what breed it is as well, because each different breeds have different characteristics to the foot. So the Arab foot is smaller, but it also has a lot deeper sole, so you can really get into the foot. Gotcha. But when it comes to thoroughbreds, often race horses or jumping horses, they have thin soles and low heels, and so you just have to be able to know what you're dealing with so that you can shoe it properly for that breed and their equitation.
Length of the are they just called nails, or do they have a different name?
Yeah, just the nails. Yeah. So the nails generally most horses are about you're using the same nail, which is like a City Head 5, you know what I mean? But depending on the shoe you use, it's punched different for a different nail and how big it is. Sometimes I do draft horses. I'm using an 8 or a 9, you know what I mean? And that's a way bigger nail. It's almost like a framing nail.
Oh, gotcha.
You know? So.
Dang, dude. I knew this was going to be cool, dude. Yeah. You're probably like, who wants to hear about this? No. I want to hear about this. Yeah. You've said you've been kicked a few times, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What was like the worst one where you were just like, maybe I don't want to do this? Or you were just like, hey, this is part of the job, but man, I am hurting right now.
No, I've never been kicked that hard where it like really caused damage.
So it's more like a check? Like,
well, yeah, they'll definitely check in. I'm, you know, I tend to not try to work on horses that have that energy that they're just going to, you know, mess me up or whatever. And so this one time, you know, I was working at Apache Junction and I was still apprenticing underneath this guy. And he was like, I went to go grab its hind foot and it kicked me right in the kneecap.
Oh,
just right in the kneecap. And I was like, what the freak was that? You know, I was angry because it kicked me. And the lady was like, get him. You know, like she wanted me to hit the horse. Like,
oh, shit.
She was like, get him. Come on, get him. Get him back. And I was like, all right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. So what'd you do? Just walk it off?
Yeah, pretty much that's what you got to do. Like especially when things like that happen, whether I get kicked or I have a hard, you know, horse to deal with or whatever, it makes the job more exciting and more fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
You know, and so like it doesn't ever deter me. There's wisdom in it, especially just because I have people relying on me where I can't get into a situation that's going to cause damage. But it generally, like when there is adversity in that moment, it makes me more excited to do it. And
yeah, man, because I've gone hiking off trail a few times and it gets dicey.
I love that stuff.
But dude, like this one time I thought I was going to for sure get swarmed by all these bees. I had one just attack me. Came out right from like the hive, whatever it was, and just it went right at me. It hit me in the eye, except I moved, so it hit me like just on the brow. Yeah, and I fucking took off, dude. Yeah, and afterwards I was like, whoa, dude, I feel alive right now because you know I wasn't sure. I had to drop like a off a 10-foot cliff. Yeah. Like I was kind of hanging there for a bit, and I was like, I got to get away from this shit, dude.
Dude, I was hiking in the Superstitions last year with my brother, and we love looking for, you know, Indian ruins and different things like that, you know, or gold, whatever, you know, just an excuse to get out. But we went out, and it had just rained, so all the rocks were loose and everything like that. So I went to scale the side of a mountain, and the rocks came off. And I fell like 6 or 7 feet and onto a ledge that was this wide. Yeah. That was another 10 feet drop. You know, so I fell and my knees went right into a prickly pear. And I just destroyed this prickly pear cactus with my knees. And then my brother's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know, maybe." But like that was one of my favorite things, dude. It was just so funny, like that it turned out okay. That I didn't die.
Yeah, because you're on this side talking about it.
Yeah, but I didn't bust my knees or anything either. But like, I was picking prickly pear out of my legs for like 2 weeks after that.
I bet, dude. I think those are so tiny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though. It was a good time.
Of course, because you know you weren't fucking hurt like crazy. It's wild. Right. I mean, you look back and you know everybody talks about it. I'm trying to instill that in my kids too. You know, because you know you want a comfortable life, right? And you don't want anything crazy. You don't want too much adversity. You know, just nature. That's what we want, right? Why can't everything be easy or calm? But it's like you don't truly want that because then you're not, for one, tested. But they're obsessed with Sheila's dad's stories. I mean, he's had like 50 different occupations. Yeah. He's like lived this crazy life, right? So he always has stories. And I'm like, every story that you like to hear from him, right? Because they'll show up and they'll be like, "Henry, tell us a story." And he's like, "All right, well, this one time, you know," and I'm like, do people usually get hurt? Does somebody get upset? Is there a fight or is there this or that? They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, well, that makes a good story and you're better for it coming out on the other side. So I can imagine how that is very fulfilling for you to go up to a job and be having the fucking worst time. Nothing's going your way, but you know what? You're going to grow from that because you're going to be able to see these cues come in a lot sooner. So then you can make corrective action beforehand, before you find yourself in that same situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you're a smart dude, man.
Maybe. The term for my like a common saying for my job, like what makes a good farrier is a weak mind and a strong back. So yeah. I feel that pretty good.
All right, man. So, do you ride horses at all, though?
No, I never. Like the most I know about riding horses is getting my horsemanship merit badge when I was in Scouts.
Scouts?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I've ridden one or two, but nothing crazy.
So you never it's like a guy throwing new tires on a fucking race car, and then it's, well, I'm gonna take it out on the track. Like you're never
no, never done that. No.
Because one would think, it's like,
yeah,
hey,
it's generally like that.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Anybody that gets into shoeing horses has ridden horses, and they're like, I would like to work with horses. What can I do? And then shoeing horses comes up, and but like, yeah, no, I just didn't. I never really rode any. But
I get it at my work too. They're like, hey, what's this chord progression for this? And can you read this? I was like, I can't read music. I don't know music theory like that.
I'm like August Rush, dude.
Not even. Not even, man. I'm nowhere good like any of those people. I don't know how to read music. I don't have good pitch. Yeah. I can't sing. So I'm just like, how have I worked in a music store for 15 years? But it's sales, it's retail sales. It's honed in. Yep. I know very specifics on certain things. I'm not a gearhead. I don't know every in and out of the, all kinds of pieces. But I can get you what you need. That's where it's at. And so like when people come in, I was like, yeah, let me just, when you're wanting like very specifics on, music theory, well, let me get you with the instructors, because the instructors are in that realm. That's their job. They teach theory, how to read music, all that. So,
but that's good on your part, because you're like, I know where my limitations are, and I'm not going to just make it up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get you. That makes it even like you better at your job, because you're like, I know exactly what you need, whether it be the gear or the equipment, or also the lessons and the teaching.
And how to get you connected with somebody.
Yeah, I'll get you there.
Dude, nothing gets me harder, Justice Roundy, than connecting someone with the person that can give them the best help.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn, there's a great joy in that. And that's what I do enjoy about, what I have dabbled in, and like this podcast and stuff, because, man, if someone needs anything like in your realm, I could be like, well, either reach out to Justice, or he has a guy, and I get so much joy from connecting people with that, man. There's something so rewarding about that. I wasn't able to help you, like get you exactly what you needed, but I got you in the right direction. Yeah. And hopefully it was just one and done, that person was able to do it.
For sure. And like, I think that is there's maturity in that. And like, you're not so ego driven. Like some guys like that I'll work around or whatever, they'll be like, I'm going to do it and I'm going to figure it out. Or, and then it might just end up being bad, or you don't know exactly what you're getting into because of their ego. They think that they can take care of everything. Yeah. But yeah, like I'm just so grateful for the guys that I work with, that like anytime that I might have an issue, whether I'm with a horse or not, like I'll call them up and be like, hey, what do I do for this? Or this is what I'm seeing. Let me describe it to you. And they're like, okay, this is what you're going to do to get this step. And so, you just need a team, dude. There's no way that anybody can do it by themselves. So.
No way. Hey, do you also shoe mules and donkeys?
No, I trim donkeys. Some people put shoes on mules and stuff, but I haven't had the opportunity to work on a lot of mules, but I'm also not too keen on shoeing a mule. They generally have a bad attitude.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Is that because they can't reproduce?
No. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
They're shooting blanks, bro.
Yeah, they're like, this sucks, dude. They just, they're the size of a horse, and they have the attitude of a donkey. And so it's a match made in hell right there. So
dang, so that takes a special breed. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So do you know a guy that does?
Yeah, I know a few guys, and I've been around some guys that do it, but generally most people like, and the reason, like, most people won't even shoe their mules just because they have feet like donkeys, because horses generally have softer feet the way they're built, but donkeys are made for the desert. And so even depending on the climate you're in, or wherever you're at in the States or the world, you have to shoe differently because of the climate that you're dealing with, and the dirt and the rocks and stuff like that. Like in Florida, you can do a lot of barefoot stuff out there just because the sand is soft and it's just a soft environment generally on the feet.
And they're on cocaine.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's this one.
Oh, shit.
There's this one town in North Carolina. I forgot it was like Love something or whatever. But the downtown was only strictly horses. And back in the 80s, in the downtown, they would give their horses cocaine and race them.
Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
what are those stories like?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's wild.
I mean, that's dude, Vin Diesel stole their idea for Fast and Furious. He's like, guys, I'm going to repurpose this story of these coked out horses in North Carolina.
Yeah. We're going to save the world on.
We're going to save the world.
You family, dude.
We're family.
We're family, dude.
It's too funny, dude. Do cows get shoed at all?
No, cows don't have shoes, but they do need cows, goats, any sort of
be like
stock.
trimming like your pets, nails and whatnot, right?
And yeah, pretty much. And so it generally any barn animal, whether it be a cow or anything like that, they'll need to be taken care of just because naturally, if they weren't being owned or put on a ranch or whatever, they would be walking. Yeah. So they naturally trim their own feet. Mm-hmm. But because they're in a stall or in a ranch where it's soft or whatever, they don't have the opportunity to break up their foot naturally. And so you have to take care of it. Yeah.
Dang, man. So a job comes out of I'm making the decision, we're going to raise this animal to either slaughter or provide, something to us. So we're going to house it. But now this new job is being created because we did that. Yeah. The byproducts, man. Yeah. That's the way the world works.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Do you neglect your own toenails, dude?
No.
Yeah,
no. Try not to.
Just do one of these.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I just get my shoeing tools and
freaking grinder.
Yeah.
That's too funny, man. That's too funny. All right, man. So what got you into comedy then? So that's how I came to know you.
Yeah. So I've always been trying to make people laugh. I enjoy it, Like I really enjoy working around people. So some of these days when I'm off by myself and the only thing I have to talk to is a horse, I'm like, well, you know what I mean? But no, I like the guys I work with, like one of them in particular, he just sitting around, we're just working on these $100,000 horses and I'm just joking around the whole time. And he's like, dude, you gotta do comedy. And I never even thought about it. Like I was just, I think sometimes like growing up, I never knew you could just go do stuff.
I know.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, how do people get into this? I don't know how. And I didn't even think to ask, but like, he was like, you got to try it. And so I was thinking of different stories and stuff like that I could tell and whatnot. But yeah, and then one day I just went up to JP's because it's close to my house and went and watched the show and then stayed for the open mic. And I was watching. I was like, I don't have anything, but I got to get up just to try it out.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so I went up and I got a single groan, and then I was like, nice, I'm doing this. So yeah.
That's too funny, man. That's all you need to. Yeah. Like, all right, yeah, I was comfortable up here enough. I can work through this.
Yeah, so I started, and something about it I just really enjoy. It's a good time.
When was that?
It was about 7 months ago.
Okay, yeah. So we pretty much picked it back up at the same time. Yeah, because I started in April, and then I don't think I got to JP's till like August, maybe September. Or so you had, because you definitely seemed more polished by the time I saw you.
I think I started in like June.
Yeah.
Or July.
So you must have been doing it for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a very natural way of fucking ribbing and busting balls and whatnot. Yeah. You're one of the best green room hangs, bro.
I like that. Yeah, hanging out in the green room is the best, dude.
It is the fucking best, especially with you, man. You're all you need is half a Diet Coke and you're fucking off the walls, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Everybody else is under like three different substances, and they're all trying to keep up with you. And you're like, I just got half a Diet Coke in me.
Yeah, dude. Keep the Diet Coke coming until I pass out. You know what I mean?
Is that what you guys had at your wedding?
Yeah, for sure.
Just fountains of Diet Coke.
Yeah, and Pepsi, dude.
So never had the idea that, hey, I want to be a stand-up, because I loved comedy growing up, dude. I would memorize shit and do that, but I never thought myself like to be a comic.
Yeah, well, I didn't even grow up watching comedies really at all. Yeah, like the one I remember that it was Hot Rod was huge, and I was like, this is really funny, and I didn't ever like get into the category of comedies, or like we would watch 21 Jump Street also was a super just it affected my life pretty good, it's just so funny, and like just like during that time hanging out with my brother and stuff like that, we quoted all the time, and so it was really good, but I never even thought about it. But growing up, my dad was never just comedies were generally inappropriate or whatever, and so I never watched it, and never really got into it. And like the first comedy set or I watched or special was Completely Serious by Daniel Tosh, and that one is that's a killer, dude. I love that one.
He's amazing.
Yeah, I quote in that one all the time, and other than that, like I never really listened to much, whether it was just like different clips off of YouTube, whether it be like who's the comic that's like when like it talks about black kids going to their white friend's house and like the way they're shocked about how they talk to their parents, you know what I mean?
Oh, who was that?
It's like, this is your space, this is your area, dude. Like she can't do that to you. What is that?
I forget who that is, but I've heard it.
Yeah, like that was
like
yeah, it was just so funny, dude. Yeah, so like just stuff like that, and then like I'm just always just trying to make people laugh.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, did you see me with half a beard?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
People are like, why? Did you lose a bet? I was like, I literally just got bored.
Why not, dude?
And I wanted this interaction here, man. Like, I was never the class clown, but I always liked to crack jokes.
Yeah.
And I noticed quickly, how do you get people to feel comfortable around you is just to make them laugh.
Yeah.
So if you can figure out a way to make people laugh, like everything's just easier, more fun, more natural at that point. But yeah, like I said, man, I watched, like looking back now, I was like, oh, that all fucking makes sense why I'm into, because I never thought myself a musician. I never thought myself a fucking comic or a fitness person. And that's literally how people view me now, because, I did dive into it, and I was like, you know what, I do like this. I like my health. I like to be fit and active and be challenged in that way. And then, I've worked at a music store for 15 years. I remember, because YouTube wasn't a thing, and I remember being in 8th grade, and during the summer, I would take VHS tapes and record my favorite music videos on them. And I was always watching VH1 and MTV and all the countdowns and all like the best of top 100, this and that. And watching comedies, man. I loved Mad TV. I loved Kids in the Hall, like any of that stuff. And I'm just like, to me, it was just such a out there profession that I'm just like, well, you just go, you work at a store. Like you go, this is a job. You go do this, or a call center, or, some sort of like brick and mortar business. And not just like this totally abstract, like I'm just going to create shit out of thin air, and you guys are going to pay me to do it.
Sure.
Like that is still something that's just, and I know, and I love people that do it. And like, I saw a video of Hendrix at Hawaii, and this wasn't even too long ago. This is like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago at most. I saw him performing there, and I was just like, this is exactly what this person should be doing. This soul should be strictly just playing guitar, writing music, and they should have everything paid for, with that. Because what I'm feeling right now is like, wow, thank you for this joy, this moment of ecstasy here, an escape in a sense. And that's what you are able to provide to me. And you should, this is literally all you should be focused on this.
Take
like,
my money.
Don't focus on don't focus on making money any other way. Like, don't even focus on money, man. Just focus on creating the dopest art, and I'll fucking gladly pay you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I felt that too. I didn't grow up going to a lot of concerts or anything like that, and so like I've been to a couple in the last couple of years, and I was like, this is awesome, dude. Like, I'm just so grateful that they chose to do it and commit, because now I get to enjoy it and appreciate it, And so, like, on a small scale, like people are really grateful for what I do for their horses.
Yeah.
But I just get to do that, and I enjoy it, and they pay me for it, and so it's nice.
Yeah. Well, you are creating something too, because you're manipulating it, and you're creating a better outcome for them. So that is cool, because you're throwing your own spin and your own knowledge on it, and that happens, I guess, with any profession. Now that I'm thinking about it, if you're writing mortgages and whatnot, then you're like customizing it to them on how it's going to be best for them. So there is you have to get creative in just about every endeavor. But there's some things that are just soul sucking. Yeah,
dude. Yeah, like working scaffolding in North Dakota. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure at first too, it's just like, oh, we're a team, we're building like this big thing, this and that. But then, definitely. I don't know. I don't think you're being creative enough in that moment.
No, definitely not the stage I was at. I'm sure. Like, I think when it comes to passion and like finding your passion or whatever you want to say, like it really comes to understanding something and learning about it. Because with shoeing horses, I didn't have a passion for it, and I didn't even have a passion for horses. But the more I learn and understand, the more passionate I become about it, because it's just such a like being able to know something or to understand a topic, whether it be because I see shoeing horses, like some days I'm like, I'm really grateful I get to do it, but it's also just a dumb job, you know what I mean? Like I put shoes on horses, you know what I mean? Like it's just ridiculous, but it's but the more I learn about it, and even comedy, like one of the other comics that I loved watching was the Bo Burnham.
Oh yeah.
What, like that special, what did like just the little quirks of understanding, like when he said he's talking about his first special, and he's like, I don't want you to leave this, from laughing too much, or my hands hurt from clapping or whatever. But then he's like, I just want you to leave going, all right. Something as simple as that was just so genius to me.
Yeah. And
then it was just so small, and it like made the show better for me, and so just like little things like that, and little techniques I get to learn, it just makes the job better for me. So.
Yeah. Little nuances.
Yeah. Little nuances that nobody even sees, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll make a foot look good, and I'll buff it, and it'll all look clean. But it's going to be in horse shit and piss for the, in 45 minutes. You know what I mean? And nobody even gives a crap.
Well, you have kids, man.
Yeah,
so you buy them the new shoes, and they're like, ooh, puddle.
Yeah, for sure. Like I bought myself a watch, like nothing crazy, but like I bought it, and then I come in and I see that my
the Hello Kitty one that I saw on the counter?
Yeah. But I also bought another one, and my daughter was playing with it, and I didn't know it, and she cracked the crystal on it already. And I'm like, shit. Dang it, So it's just funny.
This is kind of cutting out a little bit. No, we'll figure it out. Yeah. See that right there.
I'm hearing everything fine.
Maybe it's my headphones. So your daughter, you gave her up for adoption because she broke your watch, right?
Yeah, I was just like, it's time for you to be on your own. I gave her back and said, see you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What's your goal for comedy? Do you have one kind of in mind?
I was thinking about that, when it comes to like the topic of goals and whatnot, like it's, I have a hard time setting things specifically in stone, whether like, oh, this is what I'm reaching. I feel like I should do that more often. Obviously, just that's a tried and true way of getting progress, is having goals and stuff. But I don't know. Like I like my goal. My last goal was to win the JP Showcase, and then I won the Stir Crazy as well within the same month or whatever.
Yeah,
and
you're on a roll.
Yeah, so like with that, like my next goal is to do well or get my 10 minutes set really dialed in and have a good set the next showcase, and then start performing that way. You know what I mean? I'd like to also get around a little bit more comedians that have been doing it a little bit longer, just so I can see what they're doing and see what we can, like maybe emulate what they're doing, and or not, not copy, but see the technique. And,
Not to do verbatim, but just be like, oh, okay, you're focused on this part of a joke.
Yeah.
Let me dabble with that and see how it works for me, and see if it can tighten up my technique.
Yeah, for sure. And so I think that the team you put yourself around or mentors or whatever, it really affects you greatly. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be the shoer. Not that I'm perfect at it, but the mentors that I have made me so much better quicker. And then just like, I think I just naturally have an aptitude to be able to pick things up. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm like Kakashi Sensei, you know what I mean? And from Naruto, like the copycat ninja, like I can see people do something and then I can be like, oh, I can do that as well. And so I have a natural aptitude to pick things up as long as they're way above me and I can start working towards what their standard is. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I talked about that with Patrick Bean. He's another comic. My last episode on where like something seems impossible and then someone nails it. And then it's like, oh, okay, that's how you can do it. And then you work towards it. It's like any fucking trick in the X Games or any of those skateboarding, BMX, snowboarding, like all that shit. It's just like, oh, that's so hard to land. That's so hard to land. Oh, that's pretty much impossible. And then someone figures it out and then it unlocks it for everybody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's happened time and time again. You know, you look at or even like when it comes to music, you look at like hip hop in particular. I was thinking about this, like, in the 80s and the 90s or whatever, like their rhymes were just like very blocky and stuff like that. But now, you know, the old heads don't necessarily like it or they don't all appreciate it, but it's a whole new different style of hip hop that has just exploded because one guy decided to add this or rhyme, do a different rhyme scheme. And so it's just all who you're looking at, you know what I mean? You'll end up being the people that you want to model after, you know? And so like one of my goals really, like I think that with comedy is I'd like to substitute some income, you know? I don't, whether I become a professional full-time comedian or whatever, like because you'll even see like when you go out to different shows, whether it be the Tempe Improv or House of Comedy, you'll see full-time comedians that you had no idea existed, and they're making a living doing it. And so you don't have to be, you know, Bill Burr or Matt Rife or any of those guys to be able to make a living. You just have to do it consistently, and people do it. Just it's a waiting game too, I think. It
is, and rightfully so, man, because it's like you think that you're prepared for all the things that'll come at you when you're there, but no, it's literally just time invested. And that's why, like, I look back because I first started in 2019 and then had to quit, and then I picked it back up and I was like, damn, dude, I'd be 5 years in by now. I'd be halfway to the 10-year mark that everybody talks about. But also, I don't feel like I'm just, you know, less than a year in either, because of how people kind of ask, you know, when they ask me how long you been doing it, you know, when they you know, I just did 20 minutes on Thursday at this place, the Purple Turtle, thanks to Jesse Ever, who he's just like, because he was asking me, I didn't really know like what to expect. I heard it was a tough room. Everybody said it was a tough room, and he was just like, so, you know, what do you have in mind? I was like, I was gonna do like 3 bits. He's like, what do you think on time? I was like, maybe 8 minutes, maybe 10. And he's like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna let you kind of just do what you want and kind of write it out, and if it feels good, then we'll keep going, and as soon as I feel like you're struggling, I'll light you. And he never lit me, but he started to stand up and kind of being like, okay, there it is. And I'm like, all right, well, that's my time. And I get off, and I was recording it, and it was 21 minutes.
That's wild.
And I go, whoa, dude, that is intense. And you know, my set didn't go as well as I hoped. Like I expected louder pops. Because it was a Mexican crowd, and I was doing a lot of my Mexican material, which I do out in the East Side, but this was the West Side, whole Mexican crowd. But the bar is a bar. It's in and out of like paying attention. It's like the woodshed. But I was able to still get feedback from them in between the set. There was a lot of incorporating the crowd, doing some crowd work, which works really well there. And I felt good. And exactly, Jesse came over to me. He's like, how long have you been doing it? I was like, 8 months. And he's like, damn, you just did 20 minutes and you've been doing it for 8 months. Like, he's like, that was, you know, solid. And you know, we'll go from there. But yeah, man, getting comfortable, time invested, time on stage. That's why it's like, man, you go to some of these like less than stellar open mics, and they all have their moments and when they're really bad, but you still have to get up on stage and do your set because you need that rep. You need that moment to just get more comfortable with it, man. More comfortable. And that's really what it comes down to, because when you see the greats, it looks so easy because all they're doing is talking, right? Yeah. But you have to hone that in, and that just comes from years and years of reps. So I do feel like I'm not, less than a year in because of that, because of this, what I'm able to do with the podcast. Like, I was in a band, so like I'm comfortable with stage, being on stage and whatnot. So I'm excited, man. And there's the comedy scene is one of the most like, I can't think of the word, embracing. Yeah,
supportive.
Yeah, very supportive, man. Like you can literally talk about anything and people are just like, okay, like they're open to kind of give you their input as well, man. So I've been very thankful for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that one of the things too that I was watching a couple shows this last weekend, and I think we also we want everything we're saying to be just laugh. You know what I mean? And of course we would all love that. And like sometimes it's just not the night for that, or a lot of the sometimes because I'm sure we've both dealt with this, but like we'll go from like maybe like that wasn't that sucked, or like I totally bombed. You'll have a couple people that were like, I just enjoyed watching you talk. You know what I mean? And it, so that's also a win. That it was just like it wasn't just like. It was entertaining, maybe not in the laughter kind of way, but it was, you were offering some sort of live entertainment.
Thought provoking, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my favorite entertainment for me is like, okay, but what did I learn? Like you always learn from a person's perspective, which is great.
Yeah.
But also like to be informative or to look at an angle that you never thought before. And it's not necessarily funny, but it's just like, oh dude, I'm gonna be thinking on that for a while.
Yeah.
Like that's my favorite shit, man. I told Dana that on our podcast together. I'm just like, I want to definitely walk the line of like a TED Talk and a comedy thing and mesh the two together. So, I'm okay with, minutes of, no laughter because I'm explaining this idea.
Yeah.
But they're still engaged. I still have eyeballs. So to me, as long as I have eyeballs,
there you go.
I'm okay, man.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah. And I think also just staying true to your story, you know what I mean? Because like as beginner comics, I think we all do the same tropes, just like very like, we're talking about dick and sex and like all these other things, and gay is a great punchline, but like it's, I think it like when I went and did that Stir Crazy open mic, they do the critiquing afterwards. There's the three judges, and I think because there was a lot of funny comedians there, but I think the thing that separated me from the other ones of that night was that they were talking like one of the judges came up to me and was like, your story was unique and true to you and authentic, and we knew that. You told the story through your horse jokes, but like that was what made the difference between us choosing you and another guy. And you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it was so just staying true to who you are, you know what I mean, and making light of what you do or whatever, and so it's just being authentic and making people laugh and being entertaining is great.
Great. Incorporating your own experiences into it instead of trying to create some like elaborate story that's a crazy funny story, but you can tell it's like, hey, that's not necessarily your experience.
Sure. Yeah, and so and we all sense that, you know what I mean, and or you'll have a story and you'll punch it up, you know what I mean, you'll make it a little bit more elaborate, but it generally has to be true, you know what I mean. And like, well, when you get like things like Dave Chappelle when he does that, is it like when he tells you the punchline, he's like, I'm so good at this, I'll tell you the punchline before I even get there. You know. And so like I don't know if that story that with that joke is true, but the way he is just so good at telling stories, why not? Why can't it be true? You know, but we're just not even close to that yet. So.
Speak for yourself. No, he doesn't need. Yeah, you'll be there soon enough, man. Sketch comedies and whatnot. You definitely lean into that.
Yeah, I like sketches. Just like the stupid stuff I do on Instagram or whatever. Nothing crazy. I'd like to do more, but that's just sitting down. I think one of my I guess goals, going back to goals, I'd like to just consistently write more. You know, it really, like with this job or this hobby or hopefully potentially job, I was listening to someone, they're like, it was like a master class by Ari Shafir. He was like, you really don't have to do that much work to be better than most people. Like you will write 20 minutes every day, 10 minutes every day. You'll be way better than most. You know what I mean? Like in most jobs, you have to work 10 hours, you know, or 8 hours, you know what I mean? That's like, just write 10, 15 minutes. And like, and so that's another thing I enjoy about my job is that, because I'm physically active, my mind kind of goes into that, you know, just like flow state or whatever, you know, and so like, I think about comedy while I'm shooting horses all day long.
Everything's a premise. Everything's a bit, dude. I mean, dude, I'll be writing shit down left and right just because it's, if I don't do it now, I'm gonna lose it. But this isn't its entirety. But here's a small thread. Yeah. Everything.
So yeah, I'm driving a lot and shooting horses. Like one day, this lady I'm about to go see, like she's a little bit older and she comes from California. And like she came up to my window and I was like, "All right, so your name is Justice?" And I was like, "Yeah." Or in the streets they call me Just Ice. You know what I mean? Like she was like, "What?" So, you know, like I pulled that out. She was like, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay."
Too funny, dude.
So dumb. Like,
she called you out.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like I'll start joking and I forget these people don't know exactly who I am, or like they're like that I joke a lot and whatever, and so they're like, okay, like as one lady came up to me and she was like, she was real nervous just because I was working with a guy that shoes her horses and I've never met her before, and I just started working, you know, just doing the same old, and she was like, "So how long have you been shoeing horses?" And I was like, about 2 weeks. And she's like, "I can't tell if you're joking." I was like, "I'm not joking. It's been about 2 weeks." And I was like, "Yeah, I buy old tools to make it look like I know what I'm doing."
Yeah, you were just continuing.
Yeah. And she was getting stressed out. And she was like, "Does this guy know what he's doing?" And Matt was like, "Oh yeah, he's my number one. Like he's fine. He's just joking with you." But yeah, so
nice. I love that shit, bro. Fuck, I had a thought in my mind for the next bit. I'm gonna let you take over this podcast.
Take over?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I forgot my question.
Okay. So when I know that you got into physical fitness, right? Do you find that helps in your comedy, or do you find yourself thinking about comedy while you're doing all that stuff, like working out, or what do you?
Yeah,
I guess how much does comedy consume your thought process?
Everything's a quip. Everything's a pun. Everything is like at work. They know if something's off at work, some fuckery happened. I'm the first guy that they look at, and I like it because when people first start there, they don't know how to like gauge me yet, and I'm like, dude, I'm like the most approachable, most silly, like I'm understanding, like we can literally talk about anything. But it takes a while for people to catch on to that. But as far as when I'm in the physical realm, not so much comedy as much as introspection. So the last time I did mushrooms, they were fucking mad at me because I had just ran the Ragnar race, and
so the mushrooms were mad at you, or
yeah, they were just like, "Hey, dude, you don't need to fucking. We already showed you a bunch of shit on how to improve your life and how to view things and this and that." And it's like, you know, doing mushrooms for me is like the ultimate, you know, therapy. And so they were kind of upset. They're like, especially when you just did this Ragnar race, which is like 15 or 16 miles over 3 different legs overnight. So you have to dig deep for that. And when you dig deep like that, your body naturally is just like, at least for me, it's thinking of like these other, you know, bigger ideas and ways of thinking and a level of understanding, man. And so they were just like, dude, you kind of already got this over the weekend. But me, I had been sitting on mushrooms for a year now because I don't use them frivolously. It's to me, it's a medicine. It's a moment to really have a heart to heart with yourself and all that. So that's not something I want to do fucking day in and day out. And so when it comes to the physical realm, that's what kind of comes through. Especially because like these last few years with the workout group, we've really cranked it up to do what we call CSOPs, completely stupid and utterly pointless. Where it's like, okay, well, we're gonna slap 30 pounds on our back, ruck 10 miles, and do 5 workouts in between. For what? Just to push ourselves. Oh, we're gonna do not just rim to rim Grand Canyon. We're gonna do rim to rim to rim over 2 days, and we're gonna camp on the North Rim. Okay, cool. I tried to run 50 miles in July here in Phoenix. That tapped into some fucking crazy shit, dude. And then we did the Cactus to Cloud hike, and me and my buddy did it twice because we're fucking psycho. So that's a 10-mile hike straight. It's 10,000 feet in over 11 miles, I think, something like that.
Dude, yeah.
So it's like this. And I did it on Thursday, and then I did it on Saturday.
That's wild.
And so when you're pushing yourself in that realm, you get into a flow state. Like we talked about that physical activity. You do get into a flow state. You get into a moment where you're battling yourself. Everything is telling you to quit. You know, it's like, why are you doing this? You know, this and that. But you proceed. Can the boys in blue?
So,
Turned out.
well, a lot of your content, or not content, but some of your jokes talk about you being atheist or like you.
I have a lot of religious material I haven't done.
Yeah. Okay. So, you grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
Right. And so, how do you view when it comes to would you say you're an atheist then? Like,
yeah, and I just say atheist because it's I'm really, agnostic. So the term is either you're a theist or you're an atheist.
Yeah.
And in between you're Gnostic or agnostic. And so I think I might have told you this, but like the reason I say atheist is because Stephen Colbert, of all people, was like, well, an agnostic is an atheist without balls. And I was like, oh, okay, motherfucker. All right, cool. So I'm an atheist in that sense. But yeah, you do mushrooms and you realize that, okay, I don't know. So, I don't live my life by a doctrine. But there is an energy, a force that's inexplicable, and whether it's inside yourself that you're tapping into that you kind of withhold, or if it's something external coming to you. I don't know. But yeah, I vocally say I'm an atheist.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering because I was like with the shrooms and also the pursuit of self-improvement. I was like, doesn't really
doesn't
check
mesh,
out.
does it? Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people hear atheist and they're like, oh, either selfish or just hates God or whatever. Like that's not where my atheism comes from. My atheism came from just really learning more about science, and where religion was our understanding of science before we realize all these tools. And there's obviously shit you still can't really explain. And that's where like the window is still there, the avenue to explain something. And I don't know, I mean, like my whole thing is like, well, why is there so much bad stuff that still happens in the world? Because that's a lot of people's argument, right? It's like there's so much shitty shit that this guy allows to happen, but he's supposed to be good and all. I don't know one way or another there. I just know that if you rise to the occasion from those moments, you're better for it, and then you're better equipped to help somebody else when they're struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. So how does that, how do you plan on sharing that with your kids or being an example with that? Like, is it like when it comes to like having morals and a standard to live up to, how do you plan on or how do you do it actively now, like to show your kids that like there is a reason to self-improve, and that like being a good person, whatever that standard is, you know what I mean? Like how do you go about doing that? Integrity
is a big one. My son's a little bit harder to crack on that because he's so just like me. I want whatever I want, when I want it. My daughter's way more understanding, but it's just breaking it down and saying, these are morals / values we have because we are good people, and good people means we're not aiming to harm anybody. The golden rule, right? If you don't want it done to you, don't do it to someone else. And even further than that, if you don't want it done to you know, like your parents, you know, because right now we're the two people that they love the most.
Yeah.
So you might have a self-hate, you know, within you. So it's like, hey, would you want that to happen to mom or dad? You know, then it's like, no, you know. So it's trying to break it down that, and not just saying, hey, that's bad because I said so, or because God said so, or because this and that. No, I'm explaining to you why it's bad. And when you explain stuff to your kids, it makes them better, makes them more well-rounded and a conscious thinker. It also allows them to pick holes in your fucking thing. Yeah. But that's where we kind of sit and be like, you know what, you're right, but I still choose to say this is the way we're going to do it, buddy, because I'm the parent. I think this is the safest thing, this and that. And they can disagree all they want, but as long as they have that understanding, and I think that helps them, because man, I grew up with a level of, and I still have it, where like authority is like, oh, well, they got it figured out. They have this job, they have this position, so they have it all figured out. And even now when I walk into places, I'm just like, oh, well, everybody knows what they're doing. And the more you realize that nobody knows what the fuck is going on and what they're doing, and I'm just going through the motions. I'm just like, okay, well, here I thought everybody fucking just knew the shit, and I'm the one in the dark, you know? So just kind of like laying that out for them. But it's tough, man. It's definitely tough.
Do you involve your kids in a lot of the other extracurricular activities you do, like working out and stuff like that?
Yeah, my son loves it. Yeah. My daughter's totally not a physical, you know, person. I mean, any chance she gets, if you shove her, like, she falls down. She's very dainty in that sense. But man, that mind of hers is crazy good. They're both very intelligent. But I try to involve them as much as possible, and like, you know, take them out to like do paintings and painting pottery. And again, my son loves to do all the physical stuff. He's been in the workout group, like he has a workout nickname. And when I was in a band, like they went out to a couple shows, my daughter got up and sang a song. That's
awesome.
And that's what she loves to do. She loves to sing. We roast each other at the dinner table. We do.
That's awesome, dude.
And my son is he's very like, oh, I'm gonna go for it, but he just misses the mark more than not. But his enthusiasm is great, and he has like when he sticks the landing, he goes, damn. It's just like, even if it doesn't hit, he just does it. And my daughter is way more cerebral with it. I mean, she has her lines cut a little bit deeper.
Like, geez, why are you so mean?
Yeah, and that's you know, because they're gonna deal with that at school. So like, you do have to prep them for that. You have to rib them a bit, you know, give them some challenges. I'm reading a book on Stoicism, on specifically Seneca, and it's like, man, how do you expect somebody to navigate the waters of adversity if they've never been tried before and been tested? So, you know, I try to do that as much as possible with them. It's a fine line with my son, man, because it's very, you know, I don't want him to feel like he's always having to like prove himself.
Yeah.
So that's definitely tough in that sense. And, you know, even when you're like congratulating them and applauding them for stuff, how you do it makes the difference, man. Dude. And so, because you can be like, hey, oh my gosh, you're so smart, and then they identify with being smart, so they don't want to try anything that's going to make them seem not so smart. And so I always try to applaud their efforts in that. Yeah,
like my daughter, my oldest, she's 4, and like, I don't know where she got this attitude of she just can't do stuff. And I'm like the other night we were putting them to bed, and they're like, and then it was rubbing off on the littler one. Like, I was like, hey, can you do this? And she's like, I can't. I was like, hold on here, you guys, like, what is this I can't attitude? Like, we're not doing that in this family. We're not doing that. And if you can't figure it out at that time, there's always help. Whether you're 4 or 40, like, just there, we're going to succeed. We're going to get through it. You know what I mean? And so that applauding their efforts and the trying hard is way better than just giving credit to you're smart. And that's
you're fast, you're strong.
Yeah. So, like, one of the things that, like, me growing up, like, my, I'm trying to figure out right now, like, my dad was very, like, sometimes he'd have us go do stuff or whatever, but he was I wake up, he was on the computer looking at conspiracy theories or news, you know what I mean? And then you go to work, and then he got home, and it was conspiracy theories or news until 12 o'clock, you know what I mean? And so, like, there wasn't a lot of activity doing things together. And so, like, I always found myself outside skateboarding or doing something like that alone. Yeah. And so that attitude or that habit I have of going and doing stuff alone is still here today, you know what I mean? And so I'm have to break that. I'd be like, I want to show my kids that you can go do stuff. There's more to life, that you can just always be doing something. Yeah. But then also I'm like, what are the things that I can do that allow them to be a part of it? You know what I mean? Like, cause like I can't take them to a comedy show, you know what I mean? Nor do I want to. But like also my job, like I got a son on the way, and I'm really excited about that. It's different, you know, when you have a son than daughters. Like I love my daughters, but when I figured out, or when we found out that we're having a son, I was like, it would open up a different world of possibilities of things that I can do with him. You know what I mean? Like I like eventually, you know, start taking him to work and different things, whether he becomes a farrier or not. Like I don't care, but like just like the working hard, and also like, you know, like I want my kids to go out and just do hard things, like you go on hikes and then be able to have those small moments of, I don't think I can do this, but it's like, guess what, you're doing it. Like, so you're you know what I mean? Like you are doing it. Though it's hard and it sucks, you're doing it. So pat yourself on the back for that, because you're going for it. So
yeah, they got to learn too. They got to learn what you deal with, because it's, you know, our parents' work is so abstract. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, well, they leave the house, and I know they're working with horses, but they don't know what you deal with and where you struggle. And that's what I try to get across to the kids, you know, is that, you know, I struggle. I have struggled. All the struggles you have gone through, I've gone through. All the mistakes you've done, I've done worse ones, you know. And that's a tough one for my son, because he can use that as an out, be like, well, you did this, Dad, you know. But I'm using that in that moment to be like, hey, dude, like you're not a disappointment. Am I a disappointment? Well, no, right? So you aren't, because you've made the same mistake. I've made those same mistakes. Yeah, absolutely. But I think seeing them in your element, and then how do you make sure that they become like a decent member of society, as you go integrate them with all the activities that you're doing, experience random weirdos, strangers, good people, everything, so they know how to behave, you know, when they get out into the world. Because right now, I mean, what you're noticing these kids is just like, well, all I did was throw on my headphones and escape the world I was in. All I did was, you know, turn on this screen to escape the world I was in. It's all escape. Yeah. It's all escape. And you need to dive into the present, the here and the now, and the experiences, so you can fucking interact like a normal. And normal I've used loosely, you know, because we're all on the spectrum. Yeah. Every single person is on the spectrum to some fucking degree, and in particular, you know, passions and interests, man. Because you'll find those people that just fixate on this one thing, or I don't know, man. There's really no normal. That's why I just use it a little loosely in that sense. But you got to get them involved, and I try to do that as much as possible. For sure. I was thinking about this, like a lot of people say, like, oh, like one of the best people I ever met came from a really shitty background, course, you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, if I want my kids to be good, I got to be a shitty guy, yeah. Yeah, how much of it? Nice. Yeah. Well, I had I bring up Patrick again, because I had that same thing where I was just like, you know what, man? Aren't you better off of dealing with some hard shit with somebody, like when you and one of your best friends, like you're really mad at each other and someone fucked up, but you worked through it and you were much stronger for it. I was like, I kind of want to fabricate scenarios where I'm just like, all right, let me test this person out. You know, what are they really made out of? Because, man, the last thing you want to do is find out what they're made out of when you really need them. Yeah, you know, in that moment. I don't know, man. Yeah, I had an experience the other week where I called on somebody that I needed their help right at that moment. And they're like, I'm busy. I was like, you gotta be joking me. I was like, dude, I would have dropped everything. You know, you were just down the street and you couldn't help me. And now I'm like, all right, well, no, I can't. I know I can't. Now you know where we sit. Yeah, all right, sounds good. You know, and justice will be served, sir. Yeah, I haven't said any jokes about my name on stage yet. On stage? Yeah. Haven't you used the Just Ice? No, I might have once, but I got to figure something out. Because I got this, like,
a lot of, like you called me this morning, Justin. You know what I mean? Like there's this.
yeah.
I have a story about me being called Justin Rowdy, and
Ooh,
yeah, and so I gotta set up some jokes with my name.
I like that. That's an alter ego right there, Justin Rowdy, Justice Roundy, because that's Justice Roundy. I mean, just sounds like the goody old boy, you know, Justice, and nice and round.
Yeah.
And then there's Justin Rowdy.
Justin Rowdy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I actually I got a twin sister named Liberty.
You got a twin sister? Okay, no.
I'm dead serious.
That's a bit.
Dead serious.
Dude.
I got a twin sister named Liberty. That's why.
That's a bit, right?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I got a twin sister. She lives in Mesa. Yep.
Dude. Okay. Yeah, you guys got to do something together then.
I got to figure something out.
Yeah.
It's funny because like my whole life I've been getting jokes about our names. You know what I mean? Like, oh, do you have a sibling named For All or something like that? And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't heard that one before. You know, like,
The freaking Jess For All. That is funny. Is she older than you?
Yeah, 2 hours.
By 2 hours?
Yeah.
You were like, I don't want to come out.
We were born on
You peeked
different-
out.
We were born on different days too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No shit. So, what day?
January 5th and 4th.
No shit, dude. Right there. Yeah, I'm a January birthday too.
It's your birthday.
The 18th. The 18th.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew that. How did that roast go?
Which one?
The one for your birthday.
It's what comics do. You know, it wasn't a roast, but
Oh yeah, but
yeah,
it was good.
just-
Good night.
yeah, it was decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a great night, but as far as like a roast, it didn't pan out as kind of like
Okay.
Sheila was hoping for, just because comics are comics.
Yeah.
But there was really good ribbing. It was a good atmosphere. But yeah, it wasn't not so many people came as to be expected with the roast shows. Everybody's kind of there doing their set. But it was a fucking great time. I had some good pizza.
Where was that at?
At the Wayward.
Where I've never been there yet.
You got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got really good pizza across the street. And then there's an ice cream shop right out there. There's a barber shop right there, too, dude.
Nice.
It's a one-stop shop, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, fucking beer, haircut, pizza, ice cream. Yeah, might even score some crack around the corner. I don't know what you're into these days. Justice.
Yeah, dude, got to get the work done somehow, you know. Get some crack going. You know?
Or just ice.
Yeah.
Oh, you just want the ice on
Just ice,
glass.
dog, yeah.
That's what it is. So you got a job a little bit later today, huh?
Yeah, I got to trim some horses here in a little bit. And I think there's like 17. I'll probably end up doing 6 and then call it a day. So
There's 17 horses at this location that you're going, and you're going to knock out 6?
Yeah.
Dang, dude. That's a good day.
Yeah.
That's a good day. What do you so after a day of just freaking bent over this and that, like how do you get home? Like when you have a tough day, man, you fucking throw on the Epsom salt bath, or you just fucking what do you do, man?
I was, I think that working out definitely helps, but like since I started comedy, the working out has kind of gone down just because, of course, just fitting everything in.
Yeah, of course.
And so, I just working out really, because all of my muscles, like you'll see farriers, so they're all bent over. And they have a really strong back from behind, but then you look at them from the front, everything's just atrophied. They're just like fat and stuff like that. And so I try not to do that, but just trying to work out. And I stretch often. Like about 2 years ago, I was lifting up my anvil in a different trailer, and my back went out. And I fell, and I was just laying in my trailer, like, you know what I mean, like at this barn, dude. It was so it was funny looking back at it, but like, but it's taken me, my legs still hurt sometimes, like just because the muscles were so tight and bound up. So I just got to keep up on stretching, and sometimes I'll go to the chiropractor or the masseuse just to keep things going, working properly.
Get that worked out.
Yeah.
Damn. If you need a guy, I got a guy.
All right.
Yeah, he's helped me out with my fucking knee and my sciatica.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm a big stretcher, man. Yeah. It's a CrossFit gym off of the 202 in Arizona.
Okay.
So not too far from here, but he's legit.
Yeah, cool.
Legit. Definitely like that guy. Shout out to Curtis.
Nice.
Dude, if people want to follow you online, man, how can they find you?
Just Ice Comedy on Instagram, and then just Justice Roundy on Facebook. I don't have anything else. But
what about booking your services on the farrier side of things, man?
Yeah, I mean, generally, you can just message me on Instagram or whatever. But
a lot of my audience has horses.
There you go. Yeah, no, for sure. I got a few openings. So if anybody needs help, I can just contact me, and we can figure out a day and a time and go from there.
Dope, dude. You wanted to talk shit about a specific comic. Who was that again?
No. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, I know. I was just fucking with you.
I don't want to burn bridges yet, dude.
Yeah. I like to just see how you're going to react. I just like to pepper you with the jab here and there. You're like, oh, he can take it. He can take it. Next big show.
Next big show is going to be me. I'm I guess you would consider it headlining at JP's showcase on the 22nd of February.
Dope.
And then I believe the Stir Crazy showcase I'll be headlining at is in early March. Mm-hmm, and then I got booked on a show. It is by Deshaun Burden.
Okay.
And it's a big comedy competition.
Dope,
it's going to be pay-per-view buys, and
nice.
It's going to be on TV. So, yeah,
dude, that's awesome, bro.
Hopefully, I can. That's in May 18th. So,
okay,
working towards that. So.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I'm glad to see that, man. You're fucking shooting straight up, dude. I love it, dude. Yeah. I love it. Thanks for coming on, man. I know you got a long day ahead of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to do this again sometime.
This was great.
Let's do some sketches.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, guys. Be easy. Adios.
That was great.